Huh?
Miss Bolt used to teach this class.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. She's actually the one who taught me how to teach this class. Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. All right. Let's look at this first one. And we're kind of trying to figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to do, all that jazz. And on this one, there's one of our equations that gives us a little wrench. Actually makes things easier, but it looks weird. And that's because our first equation only actually doesn't have an x. So what we can do is we can take this first equation and solve this around to be a y equals and have really, really simple substitution on this one. So we're going to solve that one to be a y equals 2, 3. There we go. So if I take my 2y minus 4 and we want to get that to be a y equals, what we're going to do is we're going to take and add 4 to both sides. Because we're going to add 4. So that'll give us that 2y equals 4. And then to get my y by itself, we can divide both sides by 2. And that's going to give us that the y is 2, right? So just by trying to solve this around to be a slope, or to be a y equals mx plus b situation, trying to get a y equals, we actually found the y value of our solution. Because our solution is going to be an ordered pair. So I know my y value is 2. In order to get my x, what we're going to do is we're going to take the other equation and substitute that value in. So we're going to have x plus 2y equals 5. But instead of that letter y, we're going to put in what we know our y to be. Our y is going to be 2. So we're substituting that 2 in. So we have x plus 2 times 2 is 5. Well, that's the same thing as having x plus 4 is 5. So what is our x going to be? 1. Subtract 4 from both sides, and we're going to get that x equals 1. So our solution is the point 1, 2. So this system has one solution. We get a solution. Okay? So this one's a little weird in the fact that we only have one x up here, so it kind of solves weird, but it's mostly a substitution here. Questions on anything going on in this one? Okay. Let's do a really similar vibe for number 2. I want you to take a look at number 2. Try and solve it. You can use whatever technique you want. See what we get. I'm going to come around a couple more times. Let's see what we do for number 2. You're doing finding x and x equals, just when I subtract 2y from the side, I have to subtract 2y from the side. So it stays that it's an x equals, and you can still do it as a substitution. That's totally fine, substituting our 4 minus 2y. Okay, so your excellent start, just drop a little piece in the middle. What's it? Smooth it up. Cool. Fantastic. That was beautiful. What number is that? 0. How'd you get that 0? Because you got your y straight. Go back to one of these. Okay, so you're going to take that your y is 3, and you're going to go back to one of these guys to figure out your x. Okay. Yep. You're on page 37 in the book. Acting assistance. Page 1. And Q now. How are you doing? How are you feeling on number 2? Okay. Okay, I know. Getting it. Love it. Yeah. Is there one that would be easier to do that way? Yeah. How could I make that? You want the x to be back up? Subtract the 2, you did the 2y. right? So on my right hand side now, these two y's are going, so now I'm gonna have x. Can I combine these two pieces together? No, you can't, they're separate things. So you can either do 4 minus 2y over an a, and have them next to each other. You can do that, you can minus 2y plus a means the same thing. Either, it doesn't matter. They do the same thing. But now I have an x equals, so I look at the other equation, x plus 8y equals 14. I now have a piece that I know my x equals this thing, right? And now, instead of the letter x, I'm going to put you want to do it, it's absolutely valid. And once we get our y, we can go back into this guy. Okay. So definitely fine, definitely fine technique. Yeah, really fast. Alright, how are you feeling on this one? Who on it? Okay. What's that?
I tried every day.
Okay.
And I've been stuck
Alright. I was gonna say, let me see, sometimes I'm good at reading the ghosts of President Bubbles fast.
But it's like 3 ghosts behind.
I know, I can see that. Okay. Okay, I see the vibes of good things. I see the vibes of good things. What you got?
So,
Mhm.
I tried to do that combination.
Okay.
I got something like the y double down. Like, it's like 28y and 4y. So I can they don't
What were you, how were you getting there?
What were you multiple times 3 times 2?
Why were you picking those numbers?
The same times 2.
It's the reason they did that by 3 and by 2 is because they wanted my y sums, you know, how did 2 and 3? So they multiplied this one by 3 to make it be a 6. They multiplied this one by 2 to make it be a 6. So they're trying to get them to be the same number. The same number. It's not, but these are not a rule. These are just, they're multiplying this into the y. Okay, so you have to pick those numbers. Okay, so if we're doing that, we'll set those y's and we're gonna. I see that. Okay, okay. You're good? Okay.
So I can like,
Uh-huh. Okay, okay, I'm going to that. Well, the problem is we can't do elimination of the equals after the difference plot. We need our x's and y's to line up on this. So you've done it beautifully over here. So we're gonna have our 2y minus 4x equals minus 4. And then multiplying by the minus 2 is totally fine. So we're gonna have our minus 2y. Let's see here. 2y equals 4 plus 4x. I want to be able to have my x's and y's on the same side. So what do I do to my 4x to make it switch over there with my y? Yes. Subtract. Yeah, so you're going to minus the 4x from both sides. So that I get my minus 2y minus 4x equals that 4. And then we're going to do that. So you've done your setup here. Just gotta work out where these equals are. from there. Yeah, good job. Yeah, super close. Okay, how we doing back here? Love it. Anybody stand through? Yeah, yeah. Judgment free, the pledge, if you remember. I would say, are we subtracting this eight y make b of three x? So we want y by itself, okay. So we want y by itself, we can do that, fully rolled. If we've got 3x plus 8y equals 18, and I want to get that y by itself, I'm gonna leave him alone, and we're gonna ready else away. So I don't actually want to move the y. What do we need to do to 3x to make it work? Yes. Minus the 3x, take the x's with it. Minus the 3x on this side, we're doing it on the same side, on both sides. So those guys go away, and I'm left with my a and y. Can I push these guys together? Make one thing, or they two separate things? Two separate things, exactly right. You could have minus 3x and a positive 18. You can write it like this, or you can put 18 by 4. Either way, it's totally fine. So like we go as 18 is here is the second, and that's okay, we can do that, and we grab on the office. So, what do I do to get the y by itself? Are we doing C8?
Yes.
What does it mean when they're smushed together? Is he even gonna? There we go. What does it? So that guy divides by 8. Means this guy divides by 8. Means this guy divides by 8. Everybody. Then we have a y equals, and we're totally good. Like we can totally do that. It's fractionally gross, but it's there. We have a y equals minus 3/8 x. That's 18/8. They're both divisible by 2, but not that much better. 9/4. So you can totally do that. That's totally fine. Not the, I mean, it's still fractionally awful, but like you can totally do it. Do that as a substitution. Because now we know what a y equals. We can take it and plug it into this guy. Totally fine. That's fractioning. You can do it. Rock on. Other option would be a little less fractionally gross. Make this one be an x equals. Since it doesn't have the number in front, it's going to be a lot less gross. We take that x plus 2 y equals 4, and I want to get this to be an x equals, what do I have to do? X we're looking at the things that are outside of it, right? So I'm going to deal with the things that are being added. The option of adding is minus 2y here and minus 2y here. We're going to have just our x's. Everything else one way, and I have 4 minus x. That's going to be a little less gross to deal with than fractions. And the reason we can take this and why it doesn't matter is we can know if we have an x that has no numbers in front or a y that has no numbers in front, that'll be the one that import for x. If everybody's got numbers in front, we're probably going to want to aim for that when you're talking. But if we have an x or a y that doesn't have any numbers in front, aim for that one, it's going to be the least direction. Okay, because now we can substitute this guy in place of the x here, and ignore all of that mess because it's gross. Okay, it works totally fine. If you're ready to rock on those fractions, rock on those fractions. But this guy's less gross. Okay. Oh, my knees went. Oh, there we go. And there was a hand. Here we go. Yeah.
What?
So, no matter what, no matter what.
Like he look at
You were telling me I just, while you were doing that, I didn't
No,
know.
because we get the same thing.
All right, let's go through this one. And I've seen a few different techniques on it. We have lots of choices. I've seen some people solve this one with substitution and some people solve this one with our linear combination / elimination. You can do this one with substitution. If you're doing this with substitution, the way to pick what to aim for that gives you the least amount of fractions is you find a letter with no coefficient, with no number. So if we look at the second equation, and I aim to get an x equals, if I take my x plus 2y equals 4, and then to get my x by itself, we subtract 2y from both sides. We're going to get that x equals 4 minus 2y, or you can put minus 2y plus 4. That's totally fine. And then that is something that we can substitute in place of the x up here into this equation. So we would take and do 3 times that 4 minus 2y plus 8y equals 18. And this we could then distribute. Wow, my handwriting's trash right there. Holy cow. There we go. A little less awful. But we could then do our distributing, combine some things together, and get our y by itself. Totally valid. That absolutely works. I also saw a lot of us trying to do this with linear combination, where we take the bottom equation and we have to multiply it by something to make somebody cancel out. Again, you can either go for x's or y's. It's set up quite nicely for both. My top equation, we should probably leave the same. 3x plus 8y equals 18. If you want to eliminate out the x's, you'd multiply by -3 to get minus 3x minus 6y minus 12. Or you can do it going for the y's, where we'd multiply the whole thing by -4. Minus 4x minus 8y is -16. That will also work. There's lots of options on this one. When we come to our linear combination, to finish this one out over here, just because that'll give us our same y piece. My x's are going to eliminate out. 3x plus -3x, they cancel out. 8y plus -6y, we're going to get 2y. 18 plus -12 gives us 6. So we wind up with our y equals 3. And if we kept going over here on the left-hand side, we'd get the same thing. We'd have our 3 times 4 is 12, minus 6y plus 8y is 18. And this would solve around continually to give us that y equals 3. That minus 6y plus 8 combines together. Subtract the 12 from both sides. So it genuinely does not matter. We get the same answer either way. Our y is going to be 3. To figure out what our x is, we just have to pick any of our equations. Pick one of them to get back in and find that x value. So it doesn't matter which one we pick. We can take our x plus 2 times our y, 2 times that 3 equals 4. So what do we get as our value of x for this system? -2. Our x would be -2. So the solution to this system is the point -2, 3. Okay? Feeling a little better about some of the solving stuff. I'm going to just work through it a little bit. I know when I was coming around, I saw a lot of you guys working ahead on number 3. Anyone have a thought on number 3 you want to share? Just because I have a thing we need to do first before we look at 3. Did anybody who looked at number 3 see something special on number 3? What happens? It is an infinitely many solutions on this one. If you do this as a substitution, just to talk through it real quick, I have a y equals here. I don't even have to do anything for it. I have a y equals. So let's put this through our substitution, where we're going to have our 2 times my turn to talk, whatever y equals, our minus 2 plus 2x. We're putting that in place of the y. Minus 4x gives us negative 4. If we multiply this out, our 2 times negative 2 is going to give us negative 4. Our 2 times 2x gives us a plus 4x. Then we have this minus 4x equals negative 4. There's a bunch of 4's in here. What do we see is going to happen right here? They cancel. My 4x and my minus 4x cancel out. We're going to have no more x's. We're left with negative 4 equals negative 4. Does negative 4 equal negative 4? Even if x is 12, does negative 4 equal negative 4? If y is negative 723.2, does negative 4 equal negative 4? It doesn't matter what x is. It doesn't matter what y is. This is always true. So no matter what x is, no matter what y is, we get an always true statement. It's true no matter what. So this has an infinitely many solutions. Infinite solutions. What these are is the same line in 2 different forms. One's in standard form and one is in slope-intercept form. So it's just the same line right there. That was a little extra. Papers start leaping off of the ear. Okay. So questions on this one? Because we need to do a thing real fast. We have 10 minutes left, which will be plenty of time. This is the I pick your partner thing, where you're going to do this and you get a partner who matches your energy. Okay? So I'm gonna give you guys these. You have the rest of the time to do them, and we'll use this for a part, an activity that we're gonna do later this week. But it's the thing where I pick your partner, so your partner matches your energy and what you try on this.
I don't try to get a partner.
Correct. There's those. So I want you to give these a try. Put them in the bin whenever you're done with them. Okay, so again, this is not something that goes into the grade book. This is something I use to make your partner and you have a more cohesive group. Yes, sir. You good? I was like, we both did because I dropped it up here too. Okay, that's what it was. I'm like, it's going to be a side issue somewhere. I noticed. Yep. Yep.